Hello, adorables. Welcome to my channel, everyone. I'm working on this fairy again today. Okay, now this video is for entertainment purposes only. This is where we take reality and try to give it a new spin, get new information. I'm thinking about doing compilation videos of the strange stuff that I see. I'm thinking about it. If my computer was faster, I would. But I really don't use my computer, and I really haven't used it for years, so I don't want to know how slow it is. But I'm there. I am so there. I'm contemplating getting a whole system. Okay, so I'm looking for twos, and I think they're all done from the bottom. I'm turning upside down here. And I apologize that my video was shaky the other day. It was trying to get into focus. And I'm really sorry about that. I hope you didn't notice. Okay, so I found out a lot of information over the past few days. Now, let's start with the immigrants that are coming from South Africa right now. They are white immigrants, okay? There's a whole plane full of them. They're farmers. They're Dutch, and their ancestors went over and was living in Africa growing food. People are 86ing white people in Africa. They want to return the land to the people. Like the ancestral land, they want to return it to the people. So they're taking all their stuff. They already said they're going to do it. They're going to come and seize their farmland and their homes and all that. And if they don't come, when they come for that land, they're going to end up 86th. That's what's going on in America right now, and a lot of Democrats don't understand it. The regular you and me, we the people kind of Democrats that are looking up to our leaders and believing the bullshit coming out of their mouth. Okay, because both sides are lying about stuff. There's so much truth hidden. And that's why I don't believe what Trump, it's all, he's acting because he knows so much, there's so much reality, and there, wow. Okay, anyhow. I'm just imagining these underground cities. You know what I mean? And Trump knows about it. Trump is in the know. He's a 33rd degree Freemason from the Scottish Rite. This is the highest order of Freemasonry there is. Trump is at the top of the pyramid, right? He is in the know. He is enlightened. Illuminati. Okay, so anyways. I mentioned in my other video that I was watching a protest, and they were all gathered round in a circle, and there's a reporter there, and like they are screaming at her. There's some people screaming at that girl, and the guy that they interviewed, he's like, we want to give the land back to the people. He's talking about America. He's talking about America, and they're going to sweep across the nation. I mean, they're going to sweep across the nation. I guess those 170 underground cities, do you think they're empty? Where did all the Chinese go? Do you know there's only 400 million Chinese? And one guy, he estimates it's less than 400 million Chinese citizens in China. Where did they all go? It's like a conspiracy. And I watched this compilation. Well, it was like a podcast. um, it was a regular video from just a regular citizen, and she had all these videos compiled and talking about it, all this information, and she's talking about the decline in population. Where did all the people go? She was playing footage of when the city was on lockdown, and like everybody's hanging out of buildings, like high rises, everything, screaming. It was awful because they weren't allowed to go outside. You know, they didn't report a whole lot of that shit on the news over here, but they were all stuck in house. Bigger than what we were over here. Because, I wasn't stuck in a house. I put myself in a house a long time ago, but I didn't believe that COVID shit. That was to put a stop to normal everyday life. You're trying to break America, and COVID. Okay, you have to think about the Democrats that's involved, because it's Obama is involved with Fauci and Gates. So when that happened, when COVID happened, a lot of middle class America lost their businesses. And then who opened the businesses when it was all over? That was the immigrants, opened small businesses. And that I'm going by one town in Pennsylvania specifically that I know and I seen. All the businesses had closed down, and then the immigrants had opened it up with all the free money that the Democratic part of the government had given them. Okay? And that's still going on. That's still going on in that town. And let's not even get into that shit. Where am I at? Okay. So, I seen a lot of information that would tell me that the pandemic was bullshit. It really was. Okay. First off, the government paid to inject you all with something. I did not do this. Ha ha ha. I didn't get the polio vax either. I refused. Maybe that's what makes me different. Anyhow, I'm trying to get my thoughts straight. Like New York, and the news was there, and it was showing all these people trying to get into the hospital. There was a guy in kind of like an alleyway, and he was recording them. It was bullshit. There was nobody there except for those people, and those people were paid to be there. Okay? That's what I saw. That's what I saw. That was the video. And so that, I don't believe everything that I seen. It contradicts the narrative that we all, well, not me, but that everybody else believed. So let's just go with this and find out who Fauci is. Fauci's with the Democrats, and they laugh. And when you see them, Gates, he's with the Democrat. No, Gates went to Africa with his pokes in the arm. He gave people polio. He paralyzed them. They had spontaneous abortions. It was either from a vax or it was from his mosquitoes, his genetically engineered mosquitoes. Okay. So we got all these players up on the stage. And you just have to think, like, you have to look at the leaders of the Democratic Party, see them all together, and see consistently how over the past 20 years, they have destroyed America. This is not a democracy. This is a republic. In a democracy, because I heard a guy talking about it the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. I think I need to share that information. It makes you remember, because we forget these things. But a democracy means the 51% of the people control the other 49%. You know, this is not a democracy. This is a republic. There's a difference, you know? And they think with their propaganda, just keep repeating and repeating and repeating the same thing, that it's going to stick. And they're just going to keep doing this over and over again. And it's going to stick and people will accept it. The only way it's that I can accept it is if there are a group of people being born genderless or just like male or female, whatever, and then you decide when you're older. If they're being created not in the wombs of mothers, but in a lab. And this is where we're going. This is where I see us going. Humanity changes. And they put it out there in Lucy and movies like that, where if you're born like that, then it makes sense. You choose your gender later. They're not going to give you a gender until you're born. So I get it like that, but, you know, is that where we're going? I think so, but in reality right now, how we're looking at things, that doesn't exist. So I'm still human. And I see that as uncanny valley, but I empathize. I do. I empathize, but I think everybody's just being brainwashed and manipulated to be on that side, because what white people in their right mind would support, hey, let's all drop everything we own and move together so that blacks or Mexicans or Native Americans, whoever, they can have the land. And where are we going? Like, this is war. They're bringing up war. You know what I mean? That's the plan, is to take back the whole country, to take back the land, the ancestral land. That's their plan. And they've been crippling us through the government, through all these agencies associated with the government. And you can't tell me they're not nurses, judges, everybody. They do your hair. You know, they're everywhere. And there's this blind... they got into the schools, man. They got into the school with propaganda. That's why they spent a couple $1 million for a Sesame Street play. They're going to use Sesame Street for their propaganda. That's what they do here. Art, do you not understand? I seen that when I was a kid. I saw it. I was like, Mr. Rogers is a perv. You know? The Catholic Church is infiltrated. They got people in the Catholic Church. Because how do you have a priest touch children? The church pull him out of that after he's exposed for touching like 40 children or something. Move him to another place. He does it again. Move him to another place. He does it again. Don't you see? That's evil. It's demonic. So they get us as children. And they break us. They traumatize us right there. Once you're traumatized, you could be easily influenced. But, man, there are thousands. There are thousands and thousands of children. Yeah. It's some giant fucking plot. I'm still trying to imagine 170 underground cities. So they must be under your city and mine. All these noises that we hear, it's their devices. We're hearing their devices. The earthquakes, the storms, all this shit, they're in the skies. You know this. Tech that we just can't comprehend unless we're watching Stargate or Star Trek. Then we can comprehend that tech, right? And so once you accept, hey, all this Star Trek stuff is real. And they're just showing us here because the science in Star Trek is spot on. So how did they know that? They've known it for a long time. What we live up here on the surface, we are living an illusion, and we call it reality. We call this reality. But if we knew the truth, it would shatter our reality. I mean, that's what's wrong with me, is I know some of the truth. And it doesn't fit in with the narrative at all. So I reject the narrative. I refuse it. I do not accept it. And I don't like it when I fall back into it because, mm-mm. And so that's why I'm not supporting Trump. But I think right now I see what he's doing. He's identified the enemy inside. You understand? They're going to take down the country. They're going to take all your shit. That's the plan. War. That's the plan. That's why they're heating up race crimes. That's why these kids, some of them, you think, well, it's just social engineering, and oh, the drugs came in, and oh, generation after generation, and this is what it is. No, the drugs coming in is a plot. See, China knows all about that shit because China banned the British from entering the country. They told them get the fuck out during the Opium Wars because the British were taking the opium into China. They said, get the fuck out of here. Look what you're doing to my people. And we don't get that here. And see, our court system is so fine, but it can't handle this. We can't handle this in normal courts, okay? Because this is an invasion. This is a plot. This is tyranny coming, okay? And if you're ready for your life to be upset to that level, keep supporting evil. Keep supporting the evil because that's who's on their side. They pray to demons. And look at Hollywood. The ridiculousness that's in Hollywood. And people look up to them. Stop it. They are called false idols. And they do what they're told to do. And you hear them all saying that they sold their soul. And they're walking up there and they're wearing the stupid stuff to the Met Gala. Ridiculousness. And we're all supposed to be, oh, I want to wear that. I like that. Yeah. Like, dream, bitch. You learn from a child, thank you, Disney, that your blood might make you a princess. Your blood might give you the authority to rule. Either that or you get lucky and you wait for your Prince Charming. You could be down in the gutter and Prince Charming will come and he'll save you and you will have all this money and you'll be at the top of the pyramid and you'll rule and it'll be all good. But you learn this shit as a child. These are your gods, right? All these princesses. All right, how about no? How about no? Don't work like that. That's because they got the Anunnaki blood. They have the bloodline of the genetic scientist, whatever the Anunnaki. They use their blood, and probably the blood of Lucy. I don't know. Or whether there was already humans here and they just took us and was like 86 us all, take that DNA that they had stored in the ark. And that, if you imagine an ark like a seed vault, only it's a blood bank vault or something, it's a computer that has all the data. You don't need an actual animal to survive. You need the genetic code. And they even got the human genome. They decoded the human genome. And they sent them all up into space. At Burning Man concert one time, one of the universities sent tens of thousands of human genome up into space with a beam of light. You got freezing cold desert, and here's a heat signature in here. Okay, so that's how they can be found. And then here comes this beam of light. And now we know because NASA was like, after this happened, NASA says, we can beam information through light. I knew that already when he did that. I knew they had that capability, and I kind of thought it was common knowledge. I thought they did it all the time. And then they're acting like they just discovered how to do it a little bit after that. And I'm like, nah. Don't you 1984 my ass. No. So they can clone us if they are above. As above, so below. And if there's cities, if there's hundreds of cities connected by high-speed train system, railroad system, light speed, magnetic, what is it called? I forget. Monorail kind of thing. It goes under the ocean. There are bases on the floor of the ocean. It goes to other continents. I wonder what's under Australia. There's a spot, and there's nobody in Australia. There's like half a dozen cities on the coast. Australia's empty. But there's this huge mound, this pile, this huge mountain of black rock, and you see the cuts on this rock, you know it was something. You know it was something. And then after seeing that mercury come in contact with aluminum and create these tall, it's just like he just went like this and he put a little bit of mercury in the center or something, and it started growing up, and they were creating pillars. Now, an advanced species, an advanced culture will understand this stuff. They know how to use it, right? We're already there. Not up here on the surface, and our money doesn't come up here on the surface. That's why they haven't built anything in 20 fucking years. That's why the infrastructure of Pittsburgh's tearing the fuck apart. Right now, we got a Democratic mayor in Pittsburgh. Well, I don't actually live in Pittsburgh. Turtle Creek is different. If you're gay, you're gay. If you have become transgender, that's okay. Promoting this is not a good idea. Promoting it isn't. Not for humanity. It doesn't work that way. But I understand where humanity's going when we evolve. Okay, but this is a forced evolution. I had a video all about it. It was pretty good. One time they took it down. They took my channel down. Because I say it is forced. So what did Fauci put in those injections? If people in Africa got polio from it, if they became paralyzed from it, if they had spontaneous abortions from it, what the fuck? How did polio get in there? Exactly. Genetically modified mosquitoes. So they have this tech. And we all heard the story of Native Americans. Well, they were Indians back then. They were real deal. And people came here. They 86'd all their cattle. They created a weather storm, because I think they had the tech back then. It was like one of the worst winters ever. They starved them out. They're all gone. They kept their kids, though. They got their kids, or whatever, however they did it. And I said, well, if you dress like us and go to these schools with us, it wasn't a good scene. Now, we are going to pay for the sins of the father here. That's not our fault. I mean, it's war. If it was conquered, it was conquered. What the fuck, right? Whoever is there is there. But no, it's like, we want it back, so now we're going to conquer you. Well, you can't really conquer us. We're a superpower. How do you take down a superpower? From the inside. So think about over 1,100 nuclear weapons ready to be launched at the president's command in the United States. Well, the people in the bunkers in the cities underground, they don't mind. They'll be okay. And then they'll live under there. And when they come out on the surface after everything is good, their society will already be set up that the scientists in the labs will create the babies and decide who gets to raise them based on their good standing with the community. You know, if you're a troublemaker, you're not going to get one. And babies will be born in such a way that you choose when you're older what you want to be, because they would make you a designer baby. You would have higher consciousness. I'm not seeing higher consciousness in the average transgender person I see, but this is imitation. You know, they preyed on the gay people, our gay people. They preyed on them to use them for this war, to get them on their side. I see little old ladies and little old men out there on their side, and I think they don't know what's going on. Do you think they want to lose their house? Look what happened in California. California is fucked. And all the elite building bunkers under the fucking ground because they know it's coming. And what is the only way you're going to stop all these people? War. Both sides are like, I want this and I want that. And we're going to fight about it. We are going to fight about it. It won't be the leaders, it'll be the people. That's why this is the war of all wars coming up. You know? It's going to do us all. And so we will be more advanced when we incarnate into our next body. It'll be upgrades, as Elon calls it. We'll get an upgrade. And some of us, they're going to put in the damn robots. Like, they're merging man and machine. So, it's a transhuman agenda. And that's Ray Kurzweil. Ray Kurzweil was definitely on the Democratic side back in the day. As far as I know. That's my belief, that he was working with them. They're all good friends. The deceit of the Democratic government to put Obama and his wife, which is transgender, so she was born he. Don't tell the American people. Don't explain to the American people where their kids came from. Where did they come from? They were show. They were just for show. It's like you create a character. Give the character a couple of kids so that the people, the young people, can worship them. They can envy them. They can, influence them. Where are they now? Where are those girls now? Because from what I'm hearing, they don't want to talk anything about it. They don't want to talk anything about mom and dad. And this is supposed to be okay. Like, this country is the only country in the world that really fucking matters. The whole country, the whole planet, is at war. They're ready for war. But with all those people missing in China, I remember when I looked up information years back, the United States had 300 million people in it. China had 3 billion. That is the numbers that I saw then. So for me to hear that China might only have 400 million people, but then the numbers they were saying that it should be, they don't make sense to what I read either. It should be like 1.4 billion, something like that. How did I get 3 billion? I looked it up. I remember researching it. And that's what the internet told me. But they can edit information. Like the Mandela effect, they could edit it right from your freaking mind. With D-Wave, they can implant ideas. D-Wave focuses on the mind, the dream state, consciousness in dream state, things like that. They're talking about remote viewing, like really matter of fact. You know, like it's not even a secret anymore. And there are remote viewers. And the chick I see, she looks like she was transgender. It looks like she was, like she transitioned young. And those are the most beautiful. When they transition when they're young. So it's basically a male face. And they transgender them to female. I don't know. There's something just so beautiful about them. And you think, well, they're highly intelligent. And, you know, they're immune to so many diseases that we are not immune to. But they were created in labs. Designer babies. And this, no wonder they're intelligent. I mean, you can program them you can create them for perfect pitch and to be good with numbers and mathematics and geometry to see, like, that's why they're into autism. That's why the Crown is into autism so much. About the perception of reality. Because I think there's a high consciousness in autistic kids. And they just can't express it. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong about that because I don't know a lot of autistic people. There are some that are functional. There's some that people have autism and they're pretty much functional, and you wouldn't be able to tell that they're on the spectrum. See, that's part of. When I always think about the worst cases because that's what the Crown focuses on. And I'm not gonna forget that naked little boy crawling out the palace window on sheets tied together, and the press was out there. He was naked. They never explained that. They never explain. I haven't heard no explanation for that. It's like people just drop shit. They forget it happened or something, and they drop it. My mind don't. My mind, I see one thing, and I'm seeing pictures and information flash in front of me that associates it together. It's like building a bigger picture. And I think people they see things and they see it so damn fast. They take it in, they accept it, and then they drop it, and they're not adding pieces together. I add the pieces together. I think I got all the twos. I'm ready to put them away. I don't know. I've been seeing some pretty good clips of strange things in the sky. This one video, I don't know where the people were. I should have rewound it and watched it again, but I saw the visual, so I kind of let it go, and I didn't hold on to the information that came with it. People were gathered. There was a camera. It was pointed up to the sky, and they show something like if a 747 flew, how high up would that be? Like a skyscraper. Just like skyscraper kind of height, you know? And these huge shadows of like airplanes went over, but they went so fast. And there was no airplane there because airplane wouldn't have looked that damn big, so that's what made it seem low. Unless it was like shadow. If it was shadow onto the cloud, it was still, I mean, it was crazy. It was crazy. You got to be watching this stuff. If you're not watching and you're just, forming your opinions about what's going on, and you're not watching anything outside of mainstream media, then you just don't freaking know. And because I'm so into archaeology, I'm worried about India. There's like 20 different sites, and some of them are pretty badass, man. One, it looks a little bit like Angkor Wat, but on a smaller scale. And like, what if that's gone? You know what I mean? They're just going to take these buildings and this understanding for people. Because what if the next generation doesn't even have what we have? You know, and whatever information we're learning from them now, well, they already have all that stuff. They already have. They already know. That's not the point. It's like, it's Earth. The Earth is flat, by the way. The only reason you think it's round is because that's what NASA has been telling you your whole life. And you believed, you saw people walking on the moon. Did Katy Perry really go to space? You see what I mean? It's that kind of deception. Because everybody knows that video was fake. And they're saying New Shepherd, huh? That means somebody is here trying to take control. Remember that I put a video out showing you about New York had a big suitcase wrapped around a building, and they didn't want to show anybody what was inside the building, and so they wrapped up a big suitcase around it. It was pretty cool. It looked like a big suitcase, but that somebody was coming. That meant somebody has arrived, you know? Getting closer and closer. Then there was one that looked like the toolbox in the backs of trucks, a silver toolbox, under construction. Work in progress. And if you feel safe knowing that there is an agenda to take you from your home, 86 you, because, I mean, what are they going to do? They're just going to put you in a boat and send you somewhere? Mm-mm. Mm-mm. You got to stop about whatever you're fighting for with them. You know, whatever reason you're standing on the Democratic side of things. I think you got to pull back from it. Because they're going to burn us out. They're planning on it. And Trump sees it. Trump sees a whole lot more than I see. He knows. And there's the Democrats every single time. The Democratic Party, the ones at the top, not the regular you and me kind of, yeah, that's the side I chose because I believe it. Stop. Stop it. Stop it. Get bigger. Mm-mm. Trump knows exactly what the fuck's going on, and the courts are trying to hold him up. They're trying to say, no, you can't do this, you can't do that. No, bitches. He gonna do it. Unicorn Demon is a real demon, too. He's real. He's a duke, and he commands many legions. He's real. Look it up. Look up how many demons there are. These are the fallen angels. It's biblical. They don't like Jesus. How do you not like Jesus? Jesus was good. Jesus was one of us. Everybody. Every human being on the planet. He's one of us. Every human being. You know, but unfortunately, there are sides. And you can't say, hey, I love everybody because, oh, we're going to war and somebody doesn't love you. Somebody wants to fuck you up. Somebody's been trying to fuck you up, your family, and everybody trying to take your house, take your kids, ruin everything. I don't give a fuck. The forces at the top, the military part of it. Not just, hey, yay, I support them. There's nothing wrong with that. They, you know, it's their bodies, and it's not. That's not what we're fighting about. That's not what's going on. That's a front to get you to be on their side. Are you an American? I think everybody, no matter who they are, everybody should have a home, and a job, and everything that they need. They shouldn't have to work for a whole year just to be able to go on a 2-week vacation and then start the process of saving all over again. Because most people are month to month. I empathize with the black community a lot. I see they're getting fucked over. I see it. But you have to remember, like back in the day, there was going to be a war no matter what. And there's a lot of white people, they were like, we ain't going for this no more. We're not owning them. We're not treating them like this. We're done with that. Free them. Free them. And most of the country was insistent upon this. But Lincoln knew there was going to be a war anyway. So he did the best thing for that war. He freed them. And then he made the war like all about that. There was more going on. And I don't really know the details of what it is. But that part of what I watched stuck with me. That they were going to have war anyway. And he just used that to better everything for the outcome, to control the outcome, get the desired outcome of the war. And that's the decision he made, was to free them. When we incarnate, again, if we do, I hope we're all the same color. I hope everybody's the same color. And it could be blue. I don't care. I don't care. Why would I? Whatever I'm born as, that will be who I will be. My consciousness will be in that body. I don't care what color it is. I might care what gender it is. And see, that's why I understand transgender. But to push and make it like a psychosis with so many people that they can't fucking handle it, and they're taught that their whole fucking lives. And it's like we're not at that stage where we are being born in artificial wombs, okay? We're not at that stage. I've heard things going on, like on Facebook. This girl put out a live, but she was all into Draco shit, reptilian. And she kept talking, but I couldn't understand what she's saying. And I kept asking her, what are you talking about? If you know, you know. That's the answer you get. Because they're not going to tell you, we're planning for war, bitch. They're not going to tell you that. So if you know what's going on, then you understand her. And if you don't know, you're like, she's stupid. I don't, what the fuck? It doesn't make any sense. Yeah, she's making sense. But you don't have the foundation of what she's talking about to build upon that. Oh yeah, California's fucked. That's why it looks abandoned. And they don't give a fuck. They want you to lose your house, lose everything, be homeless on the street smoking some dope that one of their armies brought in. You know, if you have an army in the courthouse, you have an army in the drug department, like Big Pharma, we gotta quit with this shit. It's like we are the commodity, because both sides have been fucking over humanity the whole time. I don't know, guys. Isn't there a place to go where, like, yeah, Switzerland. Well, that's where CERN is. CERN is underneath the ruins of the Temple of Jupiter. And before the Temple of Jupiter fell, there was another temple there that was bigger. I think there was two of them. Anyway, what was under the Temple of Jupiter? A portal, a gateway to hell. Hello. Hello. I think I'm done. I think I'm done talking. I don't want to talk anymore. It's going to go down. You know, something will happen, an event will happen that will trigger the announcement that it's on, but they're doing it in secret. I thought I just saw, here it is. They're doing all this shit in secret. $21 trillion to build this shit under the ground. In case of an extinction level event. I'm pretty sure they moved some people in there. Like the scientists that are working on this stuff, I'm sure it's a whole community. Because I know when I was traveling, I found myself, it looked like nothing. It looked like a little town in a country, not a whole lot of anything. And then you go down this one road and you turn up in there, and I don't think it was a gated community. I don't see any gates, but this community, it was like tech people. It's social engineering like that. The tech people work there and live there. You know what I mean? And it's a lot of tech in it. I think that's on the border of Florida and Georgia. And like everything there was all about the tech. So that social engineering, like that type, and you have to have everything you need. You have to have your scientist that's going to work on the tech, and then you need the actual like factory or what, I don't know. Maybe whatever they're developing, you know, you need all your equipment in your labs. You need the people that are going to do it, and then you need things like clothes. Well, maybe that's where it comes in, that you only have 3 articles of clothes a year and you'll be happy. But, you know, because you only got so much room down there. You can't go building it up like my apartment, put all this shit under the ground. You can't be like that, right? It's got to be like you're on the Starship Enterprise. You have what you need. You might have a couple little things for decoration that somebody gave you and you want to show them off. But you don't have no shit. You don't have a need for it all. Oh, that's very cute. I don't need to own it. Right? And they're all living down there, and they need things like from a store. They would have food down there, like cafeteria style food. They would have medics and doctors and all that kind of stuff down there. Little stores for, I guess they would select what products to put in the store. You know, you don't just get everything you want. But I imagine some of them are highly functional right now. Because the people that are building it, well, where the hell do they live? They're down there with the aliens or the demons or whatever. different ones, maybe some, like maybe Democrats got some and Republicans got other. I don't know how this is all going down, but we're going to find this information out. I haven't put in thought into, who is actually down there, except people that are building more of them. People are working on things in secret, and that's what Russia's worried about, is Ukraine has some kind of underground base. And I think that when Trump says, well, we want the mineral rights, I don't know if he's talking about minerals. That might be a code word. That's what you tell the people. It's minerals. But what if it's not minerals? What if it's actually labs? Like, so that's what I thought. And then it comes out, after I already formed my opinions. That's a good one. It's like I'm supposed to come to these conclusions or something. Like the way my mind is like there's another piece coming out like every day. So I watch the compilation videos and I start forming opinions and thinking about what I seen, and then the next day something else that adds on top of that is coming out, and the pieces are going together, and it's blowing my mind to where I just want to go to sleep sometimes. Like, I went around looking for an Ambien, like night before last. I know I've got a whole bottle. I can't find them. Maybe I threw them away. Well, I just wanted something, like turn it off. That's why I miss my clonazepam. Because my thoughts were more organized and I could think clearer on that. And they took that from me. Oh, I gotta take this. I forgot. It's disclosure. What they're showing is actually considered a slow disclosure to get you used to the ideas of what reality is, so you don't have a nervous breakdown when it just happens, Alice. When you realize that mirror has shattered and the reality that is behind you isn't real at all. Okay, I'm done. I hope you all enjoyed listening to my take on my recent viewing of these things. Yeah, I don't want to be a refugee in Europe. I don't want to get sent to Europe. Where would they send me, right? Maybe Greenland. Maybe that's why Trump wants to buy Greenland. I don't know. I can't believe they sent that ship out to sink it at the bottom of the ocean. The SS United States. Because there's a new shepherd above. Right? A new shepherd. Blue Origin. Peace out, adorables. God bless.